We're getting ready for a first in a lifetime cycle. Neptune is moving on March the 30th into the sign of Aries, where he will stay for 14 years. And this is a time of a re-enchantment and a redefinition of how we wish to dream into being all the things that are Aryan in our chart, all the things that belong to the Aries part of our collective and individual skies. One of my favorite quotes that I often mangle is good old David Moore's Re-enchantment of Everyday Life book. And he talks about this: the soul has an absolute unforgiving need for regular excursions into enchantment. It needs them like the body needs food and the mind needs thoughts. And I'm like, Neptune goes where Neptune goes, and we re-enchant ourselves. We also get deluded, and illusion and disillusionment happen as well as we try to separate what is real and what is true from what is fantastical and illusional. And the challenge of Neptune is that sometimes it looks like it's real and it's not. It's the fantasy, it's the imagination on overdrive, it's a tilting at windmills in the sky, and yet at the same time, underneath this desire to idealize and glamorize and dream and hope for something magical, beautiful, unconditionally loving, and oceanic is a nugget of truth. And we're going to discover that nugget. You're going to discover it in the Aries part of your sky, what is real and true and deeply enchanting over the next 14 years. And I am going to do that too. I'm an Aries sun and moon. If you're alive today and you're going to experience this transit of Neptune in Aries until 2039, that is a soul's code. Like, it is like, I'm here for it. I'm coming up with this idea my soul wants to play with Neptune and Aries. Now, just in case you're interested in a deeper dive, I'm going to create a free webinar at the end of the month. And if you want to sign up for that free webinar, we'll do a really deep dive with questions into some of the historical context of Neptune and Aries, how you might want to use that, what it might mean for various parts of your natal sky. So that's going to be a gift from me to you, because it's just too important to sell this thing. It's like everyone should get as much from this as they can. And so I can't do a deep dive webinar on YouTube, but I can do it in a private community. So if you want to sign up for it, the description link below will have my free Neptune webinar sometime close to the end of March. So I don't even know where to start. There's so much I could say, and I don't want to overwhelm you with things that I have to say. But Neptune is an enlightenment planet. Okay, one of the highest levels of Neptune's expression is that sense of, I'm a drop in the ocean, right? Or I'm a wave in the ocean of the oneness, or a vast, spacious awareness and a connection with compassion and unconditional love to things that really matter to the soul. Yet at the same time, Neptune confuses, and he leads to things that are escapist, like an addiction. Like, do you want to experience joy, or do you want to escape from reality, checking out on whatever drug of choice you have, including alcohol? And you'll often find Neptune in a natal chart indicative of a place where we're prone to escapist tendencies, including substance misuse and disuse. So Neptune has many different sides to him. He's a savior martyr complex as well. And so we have so much to talk about in this video, but where I really want to go in this video that I'm recording on March the 6th, which will come out a few days later, my Patreon community gets this today, is I want to go into how this might play out for your sign. And I will dive more deeply and much more depth into some of the things that have occurred in history when Neptune is in Aries, because he brings us into contact with what we wish to idealize and glamorize. Just for an example, the Civil War in the United States corresponded to Neptune in Aries, and that was back 1861 to 1874. And in that window of time, Neptune and Aries, the theater of war was a big thing, because there were stagings where you could watch battles between the Confederates and the other side. I'm Canadian, the two sides, the North and the South, fighting. People get their picnic blankets out and sit on a hill and watch these soldiers bash into each other. Thank you, Austin Kopek, for that detail that I didn't know about. A fellow astrologer said that. I heard him say it a while ago, and I'm like, yeah, like the theater. I'm thinking the theater of war, the glamorization. Neptune rules Hollywood. Neptune rules filmography. Neptune's ruling what is now deep fakeology. When we have AI software that can deep fake everything. Oh my God. In this sense, there's a darker side to it as well. We can create illusions. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. That's so Neptune. Don't fall for some kind of preacher, pastor, guru who's going to get you drinking some kind of enlightenment Kool-Aid that's going to lead to a dark and negative place. Indeed, the Inquisitions, where, but the Roman, church was going around, killing the heretics, you know. I mean, there's so much bad things that go down, but we're talking about your story. We're talking about how this works for you. And I'm going to give you your Neptune generation. I'm going to show you some screenshots right now. The deeper dive into the collective story, I will definitely cover in at least in one more video and in my webinar. And by the way, welcome to my channel. I'm Lori Lothe. And so if you're new here, welcome. Please come to the free webinar. If you're new here, I'm a Western tropical zodiac astrologer. This is not sidereal or Vedic. I'm also using whole sign house systems to delineate the sky, the ancient traditional house system still used in India. And you will not understand this at a face value, but every astrologer on YouTube, as we provide general bell curve astrology, are delineating using the whole sign house concept. So if you're looking at your Placidus chart, for example, and you're confused about what I'm saying, just don't. We're imagining one whole sign, one whole house as it was done in the ancient world, which allows for accurate timing of your life using time lords, which you lose when you use Placidus, a modern invention. I am not fond of the Placidus system. After being an astrologer for years and changing to whole sign, once you go whole sign, you never go back. And I swapped to whole sign in 2018. Okay, so one of the things I want to mention here today is that Neptune, I'm going to give you some of my little Coles notes here, but Neptune, my little Coles notes, Neptune was in the sign of Pisces from April of 2011 through to this turning point, March 30th of 2025, when Neptune was in Pisces in, you know, that sign of already martyr, savior, wonder, awe. We had all kinds of weird stuff happen. We definitely developed the whole AI to the level of deep fake, right? That whole, is it real or is it Memorex? We also saw things like the QAnon movement when Trump was, you know, back in the day, first in power kind of thing. That QAnon movement is sort of a magical, mystical, fantastical thing where people imagine like Melania's, you know, green suit meant something, or someone Trump scratching his ear was a signal. Like it had a whole, not just conspiracy, because Neptune also is a conspiracy, right? And there's a huge number of really weird conspiracies that developed during the window of April of 2011 and April and March 30th of 2025. But some of those conspiracies turned out to be true, right? The lab leak and many other things. So, you know, you can't always just take it at face value. Neptune can be that sort of miasma of confusion. And in Pisces, it was definitely confusion about many different things. I'm not going to cover that one here. We're going to talk about what that was in my webinar. But if you are somebody who is a Pisces sun or moon or rising, you've come through the awakening field the first time ever in your life that Neptune became fused with your sun, which is to do with your career purpose and meaning of life and your deeper nature, your soul, fused with your moon, how you feel about life, sometimes your body, also your home and home life and your mother, and the sun is your dad. So a lot of you might have had mom or dad, sun and moon Pisces with cognitive issues. Neptune going over sun and moon could have given your parent some cognitive decline or confusion or delusions or, you know, drug problems or something. And then if you were a Pisces rising, then everything about your life, because it's the simulation character. We're in a simulation, that's your avatar. And so when Neptune went over your avatar, you might have felt like disenchanted or enchanted, lazy or lost, confused or uncertain. What do you call it? Like inertia. You couldn't get your mojo going to do things. And so certainly there's a range there, right? 0 degrees of Pisces to the end, 29. So starting in 2011, the people in early Pisces got it. And by the tail end of this story, the people in late Pisces got it. So I'm going to show you a few charts for you to screenshot. I will say a few things before I get there. What about the vibe, you know, of the whole idea of Pluto, Neptune and Aries? I don't know. War is glamour, right? Glamorous war, gas warfare. I hate to say that, but Neptune rules gaseous substances. In fact, a discovery of ether, like for knocking people out during surgery, happened during a Neptune Pisces 1800s transit. I believe it was 1800s. Pioneering new forms of mysticism. Of course, it'll totally be a part of the whole, you know, AI simulation, metaverse of, you know, simulated reality that is coming our way. Whether we're all going to be wearing goggles and going grocery shopping in a simulation, I don't know. We might have fanatic, martyr, warrior stuff going on with solar figures that are exalted. That means warrior kings that people in great power who were exalted, the sun exalted and it's energetic in Aries. And then we get savior martyr complex storylines here. Julius Caesar, by the way, was born with Neptune in Aries, and the guy was basically a big warmonger, and a lot of people died under his reign as he conquered territories. However, thus to Brutus, he was assassinated. Beware the Ides of March. And there is this concern that Donald Trump has become, for many people, a bit of a savior complex character. And he has Apollo, the sun god, on his ascendant, which is also connected to the Christ archetype, the savior martyr complex. And it's very possible that we'll see a Julius Caesar taking down of Trump underneath this warrior Neptune Aries narrative. We'll see. I mean, I'm not hoping for it. Gandhi was born with Neptune in Aries as well. I've got all these ready for you in my slideshow that I'm creating for the end of the, what do you call it? The end of the month webinar. So come for free and have some fun. So Neptune asks us, what do we idealize and what do we glamorize? You know, what do we put into our mind's eye as some kind of holy grail of an idea, a holy grail for a soulmate twin flame? The whole twin flame thing happened during Neptune and Pisces. Oh my God, little two fishes with their tails. The whole twin flame era where there was a whole, what do you call it, a documentary on Netflix about the scam of the twin flame industry and how people were duped and the gurus were like, you know, shisty and crazy ass shit that happened under the twin flame universe storyline. But anyway, we can idealize, glamorize something like my soulmate, my twin flame, my two other half of me, and all that stuff. I think that's bullshit myself, the whole twin flame concept. But as we glamorize something, we have soulmates for sure, but twin flame is a modern conception. If we are glamorizing, idealizing something, putting it on a pedestal, giving it rose-colored glasses vision, right? If we do that, we're also looking for, why are we doing that? And we're doing that for redemption or atonement, at-one-ment. We want to redeem ourselves. We want atonement, at-one-ment from something that can bring that to us. And so a lot of that time, it reminds me of that song by Jewel. Remember that song back in the 90s when we had all the girl bands up and it was like, who will save your soul? Da-da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Well, I won't say who will save your soul, but it could be. Neptune is saying, who in the next 14 years as he goes through Pisces, or what do you think will save your soul? Because it won't be what you think it is, but you will still save your soul. It's almost by going for the false, we get the true. By being illusioned and deluded, we get the real. By escaping, we return to ourselves. So there's always the two sides of the Neptune coin. There will never be not just one side. I think that's why in modern astrology, they give Neptune the rulership of Pisces, which is traditionally belongs to Jupiter. And I do believe Jupiter is the Pisces ruler. Jupiter is guru, dispeller of darkness in Pisces. However, Neptune is very valuable placed there as well, because Neptune gives us the same kind of code for that quest for enlightenment and truth and wisdom and deep knowing. And at the same time, Neptune can also be tricky and give us the fog, you know, not the real deal. Do you know Neptune retrogrades are often like when the frothy foam on the sea, you know, the tide's coming in and the foam is frothing as the waves come into the beach and rise higher over the sand. That's kind of Neptune direct. And the Neptune retrograde periods is like everything pulls back and we see what's under the surface. Oh, there's a bunch of dead fish there. Oh, there's slime, or what's really there, you know? So Neptune will always ebb and flow like the tides throughout the 14 years when he's direct and retrograde, giving us the amplitude of confusion and illusion and then pulling back and giving us what's true and real. And so it's definitely a longer story, guys. It's not happened overnight, but I'm going to give you the lowdown. Now, first of all, this is my favorite book, The Sabian Symbols, The Screen of Prophecy by Diana Roche. Neptune's ingressing to the 0 degree where he's going to stay. And I'll give you a chart, but I want you to understand he's going to stay there until October 22nd. But I want you to get a gist of the Sabian symbol for this. Aries, right? A woman rises out of the water. A seal rises and embraces her. A woman rises out of the water. How Venus on a clam half shell coming out of the foam of the sea foam. Venus is rising out of water in the myth. A woman rises out of water and a seal, the Selkie myth, rises and embraces her. The mermaid myth is here. Realization is the key word. And this is what this particular author says about this delineation. So I want you to think about your life starting on March 30th to October 22nd when Neptune's at 0 degrees of Aries. And I want you to consider these themes. This is what she says. as a breakdown. A way to begin. To begin. A way to begin is to begin. A way to begin is to begin. This symbol speaks to birth, to emergence, to taking the first faltering and naive steps on any journey. It speaks to the stirring from within that signals the realization of potential and the possibilities for growth. The image of a woman rises out of the water and a seal rises and embraces her. This depicts feminine, emotional, receptive, or passive, the passive side of human kind, embraced by the masculine, purposeful, and initiating or active side. This image is symbolic of the human spirit embraced by desire. The emphasis is on the achievement of self-integration, or that mystical union of all elements of the self. On a practical level, it represents the first degree of the zodiac and the spring, the beginning of the new, and freedom of choice. Now, I'm going to give you just a few of the kind of breakdown words: birth, new beginnings, growth, self-integration, new cycles of experience, freedom of choice, and receptivity. It is so funny because I had a dream about the freedom of choice the other day. I was even thinking about Neptune and Aries. So if we're not having war as glamour, gas warfare, we could have a spiritual warrior pioneering new forms of mysticism. We'll have fantastical new forms of art and creativity. There's a lot of that's coming, pioneering our way. But what we're going to do, Hollywood will never look the same, is I'm going to give you some things to screenshot. Hollywood and glam and all that. That's so that storyline. I want you to screenshot this first of all. And I just had to slice it from an old slide from last year, but it means Neptune generations. We're all born when Neptune's in a different part of the sky. These generations are more or less what you're seeing here. And you have to understand, of course, that there's Neptune retrogrades as it ingresses in and out. So there's a period of time where this might not be accurate for you. You'll have to look at ephemerises, the 1928 or 1943, right? In the Virgo range. You might be in Virgo, you might not be. Right, just because of the windows of retrogradation as there's sort of a into the first sign and out. Like, for example, now, right? Neptune's moving into the sign of Aries, March 30th to October 22nd, and then he's leaving for a while and coming back next year. So double check that. But I want you to know you have a generation that you belong to. Neptune is a personal, not a personal planet. It's a transgenerational planet because it's time that it takes to move through the entire zodiac is like 100 and my brain won't remember, 160 something years. And so in that, or it's 160 something years. And so you can't live a whole lifetime in which Neptune goes through every sign. That's why you can't use it as a time lord and as a ruler of your Pisces sky, because you can't live unless you're a vampire through the entire circuit of your time lord. This is why we need to use the ancient traditional rulers when we're talking about astrology and timing our lives. Come take my Sky Reader class this summer. You'll love it. You'll learn this stuff. So look at this chart, figure out where you fit. I happen to be born myself in the 60s, yay me. And I happened to be born during a time when, because of that, Neptune was in Scorpio. And so I'm in that 1957 to 1970 cohort. And as we get through time, you can look at your children, because some of you will have kids born like I do with Neptune in other signs, right? Neptune is in the sign of Aquarius when my daughter was born. Neptune is in the sign of Capricorn when my son is born. So you get to see the generations of your friends and family by looking at this chart. Maybe give it a screenshot. We have a whole new generation of souls coming through, being born in 2025, because we have a light ingress, right? A light ingress, and then permanently 2026 to 39. So keep in mind, these are people, these are kids in our life, these are friends, these are you. So you belong to a cohort. And why I have this chart here is when I just do the all signs delineation shortly, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the generational factors here too. So I want you to grab a pen or paper. And I want you to figure out, what is your generation? Are you the Scorpio? I doubt there's any Libra generations listening, but I should not say that, right? I should not say that because maybe there are. So if you're a Libra generation, I doubt there's any Virgos there, but you know what I'm saying, okay? So if you want to listen later on when we do the all signs, I'll say, and if your generational placement is here, it can mean this. I'll touch on it very briefly. Now, I won't go into it too deeply. Like, I know that there's not likely any Pisces generation, but maybe there are listening to me today. But we could have any one of these generations listening to me today. So who knows, right? Certainly not in the Aries generation because you're not here yet. Now let's go ahead and stop the share. And I'm going to show you another thing. I'm going to show you another chart I'd like you to maybe consider screenshotting. Well, if I can find it, I will share it. Give me a minute. I want you to understand exactly what Neptune's doing. So this is your little screenshotable to keep handy that he enters Aries March 30th, and he will be happy there. Like, I'm in Aries, yay me, trying some pioneering mysticism. But then he's going to enter retrogradation, right? And so this means he retrogrades backwards into the sign of Pisces on October the 22nd. So we really have this March 30th to October 22nd window as like a foreshadow or a trailer or a teaser of what's going to happen starting next year when he enters back into Aries, January of 2026, and will be in Aries all the way to 2039. Later on, you can see he will dip into Taurus in 2038, and then he'll come back into Aries in October of 38. And finally, he's out of Aries by the time we get to March 23rd, 2039. Clearly, if you are right now listening to me and you are an Aries, sun, moon, or rising, this is going to be an amazing window of time for you over the course of the next few years, 14 years. Now, if you are an Aries, sun, moon, or rising in the first 3 degrees of Aries, if you are a Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising in the first 3 degrees of Capricorn, if you are a my brain, Libra, sun, moon, and rising in the first 3 degrees, and if you're a Cancer, sun, moon, and rising in the first 3 degrees of Cancer, you're really feeling this ingress because it's happening either conjunct, opposite, or square your sign. Angularity means intensity, right? You really feel it. If you're a Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising, or if you are also the other fire sign, Leo, sun, moon, and rising in the first 3 degrees, you flow with it. You love it. It feels good. You're like, hallelujah, I'm taking it on. It's all perfect. I love the vibe, right? So you're going to go with this with a sense of trine energy, the nature of Jupiter, fire trine, and it's going to feel exciting and exhilarating and super powered. Now, on the sextile energy, which is the nature of Venus, those are the Aquarius risings. Aquarius, this is happening 2 signs away from you, called a sextile. So you don't mind this at all, and you might be feeling something along the lines of this is exciting. And you Geminis have the same thing. It's 2 signs behind you, so you're going to feel like kind of grace, flow, and ease. Gemini, sun, moon, rising, first 3 degrees, and of course Aquarius, I'm one of you, sun, moon, and rising. We also love the vibe here, so it's going to be very good for those signs as well. But that's the lay of the land. I'm going to do your sign now. We're going to go through this. I hopefully not more than an hour together. I'll do the deep dive webinar. I'm excited about that at the end of this month. And so please sign up for it. I've already been creating all kinds of content. Liz Green's book on Neptune is on my shelf. And I just want to teach this and give it away because it is once in a lifetime. I may give you a tip jar, but it is free to enroll. All right. So let's get talking about your sign. If you're listening for your sun sign, you're listening to things to do with your eternal nature, your soul, your career, your purpose, and the reason you're incarnated. Quite often, listening for your sun sign, we pretend your sun is in the first house, that we rotate the sign and your sun to the first house, called a solar chart. And then we delineate from the sun as if it's the center point of the Lugna Lord. This is as if it's in the center, the eastern horizon, as if it's the rising place. And then we're really talking about purpose and career, or reason to be incarnated. So purpose and career are very solar energies. When we're talking about the moon sign, same thing. We put the moon on I pretend that we're looking at the moon as a first house placement and delineate the houses as if derived houses from the moon. And the moon is your home, your nest, your safety, your domicile, your residence, your private life. But the moon is also your mother, like the sun is your father. And the moon is also connected to your how you feel, your emotional mind, body, think about your life, right? It's also the very karmatic element of the chart as well. And then when we're listening for the ascendant, it's the character. It is the eastern horizon. It is on the rising side of the chart, the eastern horizon. And we're pretending like, yeah, this is my character in the simulation, and I'm going to play it to the max. I'm going to be that character, so I'm an Aquarius rising. I'm very scientific. I'm very geeky, and I love technology, and I'm very inventive, and I'm the water bearer, pouring the healing waters on humanity. Joke for Aquarius characters. We love humanity and we don't like people. And that is extremely true. All right. So we can look at your character as circumstantially accurate. So your avatar in the simulation is your rising sign. I would listen for sure to your sun sign and rising sign. If you don't know how to find your rising sign, you'll need your birth time, but I have a free tutorial. Hit the more button under the title, click, click, click. That's the show notes. At the bottom of all of that, you'll find how to cast your chart in whole sign houses, and that allows you to find your rising sign, free video tutorial. You'll find down there my amazing asteroids course, and you can go grab that. And like almost 6,000 people have taken it. Find the names of your aunt, uncle, your mom, your dad, your friends, your family, your husband, your spouses, spouses to come, places you've lived. It's all exciting to find those minor asteroids in your chart. And if you go down below, my meanings of the 12 houses PDF, also for free. So you can have an understanding of the meanings of the houses in a deeper dive than I can possibly do in every YouTube video. Let's go ahead and let's start with Aries. All right, let's settle in. I'm going to talk a little bit about the asteroids as well, Phaethon and Borasisi, Hestia, and Fortuna that are involved today. When I go through each sign, I'll be highlighting those for you. I'm kind of going to riff a little bit here on my intuition, and I'm also going to draw a card for each sign based on the enchanted map, only because it's called the enchanted map, and the god of enchantment is Neptune. Remember, what you're going to really idealize or you glamorize in the Aries part of your sky, but how something starts off, like when a planet ingresses into a sign, when it first happens, then it sort of bakes in certain energies. And this is going to be true until October 22nd. So between March 30th and October 22nd is the delineation I'm giving you as a broad brushstroke. There's so much more about this that I can't even begin to talk about it, because there's going to be a mini grand trine this summer once we get Uranus into Gemini. And that's going to be a beautiful and rare and magical enchantment for humanity. All right, so here we have the sky, and I'm not set for Aries, darn it. Let me fix that. Let's go back to the hours and we'll get going on your sign. All right, so we're starting with Aries, and what I want to point to is, again, as I said, a few of the minor asteroids here are really cool. So we'll talk about that for each sign. And I just want to highlight this as well. Hang on, I need to get my mouse to work. There we go. Woo! So, he's not in the right place. We got to get rid of him. Let me just check the 0, 0 ingress. Yeah, I'm getting rid of this guy. I didn't mean to keep him in there. That's Phaethon. We've already been through that. So basically, Neptune was crossing over Phaethon, which is that story about the guy who either burned the earth or froze the earth because he was running the chariot of the sun across the sky. He was driving it like Santa Claus and his reindeer. I bet you Phaethon and Santa Claus and his reindeer myth is the same. And he was either going to get too close to the earth and scorch it, or too far and freeze it. And there's something about the peril of Neptune having been here. And I just want to say, because I'm recording this really like on March the 6th, and we're waiting, this is a March 30th sky. Well, there could be some very big scorchings of the earth or perils to the earth in climate matters connected to seas and water, including earthquakes and tsunamis, okay, or cyclones or something like that, because of the fact that Neptune's sitting on Phaethon, basically a story of something that could cause harm to the earth. All right. Technically, Phaethon, of course, is in the heavens connected to the sun. So there's many myths to say maybe it's about a solar deity that could harm the earth. But all I can say at this point is, right, at this juncture, is that's behind us by the time we get to March 30th. I've already talked in my channel extensively about the earthquake risk that's coming up, especially for California. I'm kind of almost wondering if it's more San Diego than Hollywood, but I don't think it's northern. But I'm all I can definitely say is I get California intuitively, and I don't doubt that something major, maybe only a 6. I say only a 6.8, but that would be like a relief compared to what it could be. But I think we're going to see something major there before this March 30th timeframe. Okay, so that could be Neptune on Phaethon right here. This also in a connection to Uranus on Algol. Uranus is on Algol right now as we speak, and I'm recording on March the 6th, and that's also not so great for earthquakes. That's happening right here. So let's just move past that storyline. Let's talk about something more happy. By the time we get to March 30th, we have Saturn in a flow to Algol, Uranus in a flow to direct motion Mars, and that's a beautiful also side hustle sky going on as Neptune ingresses into Aries. So let's see what we're going to do here. We're not going to talk about Phaethon Phaethon for your sign. What we're going to talk about is the two things that I want you to draw your attention to. Three things. Hestia, the goddess of the hearth, is at 0 degrees of Sagittarius. Where do you want to build a hearth fire, a sacred flame? Where do you want to do something that's nurturing and dedicated and devotional in your life? Because the hearth fires of Hestia are there. It's the same goddess as Vesta. Second of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about Fortuna. She's at 0 degrees of the sign of Gemini. What that is where Lady Luck is. And so we'll just call her Lady Luck for the rest of this video, but round and round the wheel spins, and there she is. Lady Luck is opposite the hearth flame. Okay. And then we see that this energy is what we call a wedge. Neptune and Borasisi form a wedge. A wedge is positive. So what happens here is that the fates and fortunes and Lady Luck is spinning. There's a retrograde hearth and home. You have to change your home, go back to an old home, light a sacred Bic, lighter flame of devotion in Sagittarius, whatever the Sag sky means for you. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then Neptune and this particular god, Borasisi. Now, I cannot make this stuff up, but you cannot get a even better delineation than this particular asteroid. Borasisi is asteroid celestial body 66652. It is a central god of a fictional religion which was based on lies, written by author Kurt Vonnegut. So there was a religion based on lies in the fictional story, wanting to believe something so strongly that you live as though it were truth, looking to find a reason to believe because the alternative is too painful, convincing yourself that the lie you have told yourself isn't a lie, and believing in something so strongly that your belief is contagious. So it's really about the ups and downs and the intensity of delusional beliefs based on lies. So in our world, we have a lot of delusional beliefs based on lies all over the political spectrum, all over the medical spectrum. So yeah, what can you say there? All right, so I'm going to see if I can get more light on me. It's actually a sunny day here, but it's really tough to get the ring light to actually give me some light. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the Aries sign. Am I actually showing you the screen? Am I was I not screen sharing all of this time? I thought I was. Oh no, I was so sure I was circling this stuff for you guys, and maybe I wasn't sharing. Ugh. Okay, so there we go. If I wasn't sharing, I'm apologizing. So basically, that's so bad. Again, there's Neptune and Borasisi, there's Hestia, there is Fortuna, and what we have is a wedge formation that's positive, especially positive for the Neptune, breaking the tension between an opposition. That's what I thought I was delineating and showing to you. Maybe I wasn't. Eeks. Okay, so we're going to stop that and go ahead and do each sign. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. So as this cycle of 30th of March all the way through to October 22nd takes place, you're primarily looking at a new vision for who you are in this world. If it is your sun, it's your career and what you want that to look like. Your moon, your nest, your home, a vision, a dream, a goal, a fantasy, an enchantment. But if it's your ascendant, of course, it's the character itself that is looking for a new vision of an illumination of the imagination of what you can be and do and become. The I am house is under Neptunian influence. Of course, Neptune does bring a tendency for episodes of vast spacious awareness and enlightenment. And it is possible, maybe not probable, but possible that you could come into some enlightenment episodes, especially if you happen to be somebody with this position and it's relevant to the next, you have 3 degrees, up to 3 degrees of your ascendant, 0 to 3 degrees here. You're going to really feel this Neptune through to October 22nd as a very, maybe almost like you're dissolving, almost like your identity is dissolving. Now, all Aries will feel either enchanted, imaginative, or like they're dissolving, right? I don't care if you're sun, moon, or rising. I don't care what degree. There's a sense of the dissolver is in the room. The enchanter is in the room. The vision and the imagination is in the room. Now, it does actually take place, in the real world as like Hollywood screenplays, filmography, YouTube, Instagram reels, videography platforms, glamour, modeling, art. creativity, music. These are other areas of Neptune's expression. In modern astrology, he's a higher octave of Venus. That's a modern phraseology, but I wouldn't argue with it necessarily. He could be considered to be a higher expression of Venus. And so this energy is like almost like celestial, transpersonal, vast and spacious in the sense of you're experiencing some of this now. So if you've never had a spiritual experience yet or a spiritual opening or something, you definitely could have a spontaneous awakening. That aside, you're going to get used to him being here. It's going to be here for till 2039. So it's a longer story. Borasisi is saying, what is it you so desperately wish to be imagining is true? Almost like it's actually based on lies, but you're like willing to believe it. And it can be many things that you are willing to believe that are true, but are based on lies. And technically, when I look at this wedge that's forming in the sky, and I think about Hestia in your ninth house, well, I mean, Hestia is, where do you want to light a sacred flame of devotion? Or where would you like to set up a hearth fire or a home in your life? And she's in your particular part of the sky, that it's the ninth house, and the ninth house is a foreign place, a distant foreign land. So is there any chance that you have some aspirations to do that? And is it feasible? Well, it is a trine. It is a trine. And I say that therefore it can be a feasible idea for you to consider the possibility of a foreign home or place in a distant shore in which you wish to live. And you could also have aspirations to go back to university or college or attend a school of learning, higher education that allows for some greater satisfaction. The lot of fortune, not the lot of fortune, the asteroid Fortuna is at 0 degrees of your third house. And we have the Vestal Flame in the ninth house of publishing. It's a writing publishing axis, and it's also a traveling journeying axis and a teaching learning axis of the chart. So there's a deep desire to move into a devotion to your dharma and your life's purpose, connected to truth and wisdom and publishing and education and learning and maybe teaching. With this writing asteroid placement, Jupiter direct in the house of writing, and the Fortuna, Lady Luck, is down there. Writing projects can be very fortunate. Neptune is the imagination, particularly screenplays or fantastical stories, or stories that are connected to a spiritual impulse within you, and maybe channeling something under this light of Neptune. Lady Luck is with Jupiter, who's also luck. And so Neptune begins to fuel the luck, all right, of your third house. And your third house, again, is social media as well. Your online, your website, your social media platforms. And it looks like you're coming into some enchantment and some luck in those platforms, particularly if they're video-based platforms. Neptune is ruler of the video-based platforms. Finally, the last thing I want to mention is that if you consider the Lord of the Neptune placement is Mars in the fourth house, Mars is definitely itching for a move. Mars is like, I'm direct now, I'll be direct to mid-April. I was retrograde in December, and Mars is even more deeply aligned with a Scorpio reset button that happened in 23, but I'll do another video on that at some point. I will just say this, you are looking like you're getting ready to migrate somewhere new. A lot of Aries will look back at this. Hang on. They'll look back at this 30-day cycle. Sorry. They'll look back at this transit until October 22nd. And a lot of you will see, if you haven't relocated your home, you've changed something dramatic about and in your home. You have really shifted things around in the home life. Maybe someone left the home. Maybe a child left the home. Maybe a relationship broke up and they left. There's a home change, a massive change in the home. But it could be of the home or within the home, basically, right? There's a story that's trying to unfold here. And because Mars is the ruler of the Neptune ingress, use your imagination, use your heightened imagination, your visualization, the power of the imagination to really see and to really use the imagination, not to just daydream, but to visualize intensely what it is you wish to experience when it comes to home. The card I got for you is called Protecting Treasure. Protecting Treasure is your card for this particular cycle through to October 22nd from the Enchanted Map by Colette Baron read. The 39th card says, I'm not going to read the whole thing, and all these cards have been upright so far because I've only drawn one. It says, it's a time of risk, but know that you are able to move forward safely and securely. The nest egg is safe and sound no matter the fluctuations in the world. Guardian angels and other guides are whispering to you, making you aware of their protective presence. Your loyalty is an important theme. Nurture that which you hold dear. It's a time to strengthen your bonds of friendship and ensure their integrity. And if you're feeling tested between now and the 22nd of October, because it's the time frame, if you're feeling tested, know a true and loyal heart is always achieves its aim. Take refuge under an angel's wing. You are not alone and you have no need to fear. Embrace your courage. Well, that's perfect for an Aries because everything about you is about courage. You and the Leos. And you got that Mars saying some of the courage is about breaking free of your home, your nest, kicking someone out of the nest, or possibly breaking free of some childhood wounds and a family of origin wounds that may have held you back in your life. And you can exit with a clean cut. A clean cut. Also, maybe cutting from the mother relationship, literally or metaphorically. The wound of the mother. And maybe mama wounded you. Maybe your relationship is wounded. Maybe she's passed and you're still feeling wounded about her passing. It's time to clear some of that energy out according to the sky. Okay, we got to get rid of that drawing because it's not going to migrate with the wheel. So clear the drawing, clear the drawing. Clear the drawing. All right. All right. So your Neptune enchantment journey. Let's talk about it. So Neptune in the 12th house can bring enlightenment. All right. I'm an Aries sun and moon. Neptune transiting through Pisces since 2011 gave me an enlightenment. I wrote the blog is called the Awakened Dreamer blog. Go Google it. I write all about my spiritual awakenings that occurred during the time from 2011 until now. And so in essence, you're now on stage for that Taurus sun, moon, and rising, to feel the energy of Neptune, this vast, spacious, enlightenment-y vibe trolling through your 12th house for the next, 14 years. This is a delineation we're talking about more acutely through till March 30th to October the 22nd. Possibly you're going to find this is very intense energy for you when it comes to closing out any kind of wounds around addictions or self-undoing or self-sabotaging, worst enemy storylines. And that's with Chiron here. It's been talking about this on my channel ad nauseum, but in 2027, Chiron is leaving that part of your sky. All right. I'm going to get comfortable. And he's been here. And this is like a chironic wound in the house of addictions and self-undoing. So if you want to think about it that way, also having Neptune, the god of escapism, enter in here can really take this whole thing to a new level. Honestly, if you're trying to quit cigarettes or you're trying to quit a substance, do some hypnosis. He's the lord of mesmerism and hypnosis. Use some kind of process that's non-ordinary to move yourself away from that which undoes you. Having this energy of Neptune with the Borasisi energy right beside him within a degree is like, where are you made up a fantasy in your head? What's some story that's fictional, completely based on lies? It's almost like a religious belief. You're holding it so strongly. And what does it have to do with your alone time, your aloneness, your contemplative time, your solitude? Because this is the house of solitude. This is the house of your aloneness. And so there's something about now engaging with Neptune. Neptune is a dream god. Pay attention to your dreams at night, certainly with Mercury following him in pretty soon. Your dreams at night are going to be extraordinarily nocturnal dreams, are extraordinary, powerful energies for you. And finally, when you look at this Neptune, he's also in a conversation with Hestia, the devotional flame and the hearth goddess, and he's also talking to Lady Luck in your second house. Now, this is flow, and Lady Luck is with Jupiter. Double your luck, double your money in financial resources, earnings, possessions, and savings connected to the 12th house. Now, there's a possibility that Lady Luck is telling you that you can make some income from distant lands and shores by doing, working for a foreign company or having a foreign marketplace, having borderless income and digital revenue. These are possibilities, but also that maybe Lady Luck is saying something to do with a foreign place or a distant shore is going to bring you good luck. Hestia is the hearth flame, the goddess of that which we devote ourselves to. And, we carry a sacred duty. And she's in the 8th house of that chunky money that doesn't necessarily belong to you. You share it with the bank, the investment structures of company that you invested in. What do you call it? Like the stock shareholders, maybe with a spouse. Mars is cutting, and he's the guy cutting through the 3rd. I'm going to give you some ideas here. Are you getting ready to make a massive change in your neighborhood and move your neighborhood? Or are you going to make a change regarding financial matters and businesses and companies? Mars is cutting through till mid-April. Do you want to leave your neighborhood, sell your property, sell a business, leave behind your social media land, leave behind your local business or your whole structures there? I want to also notice that this energy of Lady Luck, she's at 0 degrees, and it's considered a luck degree anyway. And when you add a luck degree with a Lady Luck, and the fortunes are spinning and Jupiter is lucky, at the bottom line, the indication can be that from March the 30th to October 22nd, you're coming into some financial luck, some financial fortune of some sort. Hestia, the home fire goddess, just happens to be in the house of inheritances. The sun is with Neptune, father figure, in the house of hospitals. It's possible a father figure may bequeath you some money. Doesn't have to be a dad, grandparent, Uncle Joe, whatever. And you may be coming into money as well. Also, you're working on the axis of karma with the Neptune storyline and the Hestia. There's karma in their houses. There's moksha and liberation, but there's also karma. So there may be a really big change, a kind of cutting through some kind of karmatic knots in your life, particularly connected to siblings, particularly connected to aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews, where Mars, the Lord of the ingress, is traveling. Now, Mars is in a square to this ingress, so we have to know that he's being pretty hard-assed about everything that Neptune's up to. So this Neptune into the 12th can make some significant changes in your relationship to siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, and your local neighborhood environment. Certainly, some of you will perhaps consider a relocation by the time we get to October 22nd of next year of where the local area in which you live. Ultimately, whether you know it or not, Uranus is trying to get you to break free and become liberated and have breakthroughs in your life. And sometimes those breakthroughs come through things we choose to do and act upon about where it is we are living in this case, or working. If you work in a local neighborhood establishment, you might want to change that as well. I'm going to draw a card for you, Tauruses, and see what I get about how you can navigate this first ingress, this teaser of this transit. It is the magic prayer. Well, I love that because why? Because we have Neptune in the house of spiritual enlightenment. All right. So I'm not going to say that's too shabby. Is it time for a little divine intervention in your life? 32, the magic prayer. Is this cool up, Aaron Reed? Yes. 32. And your message is, sorry, it's taking me a while. All right. Speak your prayers, listen for the answers, and act in faith. When you see the magic prayer, it's a reminder your prayers are going to be answered, and Spirit is always waiting to help heal you. And the best prayer you can have is, thy will be done through me, thy will and not my mind be done. Well, that's interesting because Mars is the god of will, and he squares the house of God, enlightenment. So yeah, maybe that's true. Let a divine force of great will move through you as you. Conscious contact with your higher power is achieved through ritual prayer now and meditation. Speak and listen to the divine force within the field of creation. Surrender your wishes and desires to Spirit. You may not get what you want, but you will surely get what you need. Your destiny awaits you. As long as you keep in conscious contact with your higher power, be assured that you are on the right path, Taurus. Moving on to the next sign. Oh, I meant to talk about the generations. I'll do that in my webinar. I'll talk about if you're, it's too complicated to do that here. Like if you're in this generation and Neptune is here, that's a lot of work. I'll do that in the webinar. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, I have a progressed Gemini sun. Your progressions are not as important as your natal chart. It's like the cake and the icing on the cake. Okay, it's an extra layer of meaning. But anyway, so here we have the story of Neptune coming into for 14 years, your 11th house of good spirit, knowing that he's only testing the waters through till October 22nd. He'll be back full time next year. So in a way, you're really getting a sense here of what's coming for the next 14 years until 2039. And this is it 2039? Yes. And this energy is very much about the dreams and wishes and long range plans and goals you have for your life. This is a wish fulfillment, desire, karma house. It's the wishes and dreams for your ascension of your career, what you wish to accomplish and your purpose. And so a lot of this is like Neptune, the dream and imagination god, is here, but be careful as well, because you can see that Borasisi is with him on the ingress. And that's where there's something that's so, you believe it, you believe your own shit, you believe your own like lies, you want to believe something so desperately, like it's a fiction, it's a religion based on untruths. And so be careful where you could get a little bit deluded here about some of your long range goals and dreams. Just be a little more cautious as you dive into this imagination of what you want. Also notice that you have friends up here. These are your social groups, your allies and your benefactors. And, there's a chironic wound in that part of your chart. And so sometimes it may be friends let you down, or you don't fit in with your friends since 2019. Neptune here may make it very challenging to discern which friends you want to keep, or understand clearly why you're so confused about the feeling you have in your friendship circles of not really getting down with that belonging or finding your true tribe. Neptune here is going to be talking, of course, in this wedge formation that I was bringing up for us all. And of course, we do have Pluto. I haven't forgot to talk about Pluto, but Pluto's at 3 degrees, and Neptune's not really making the full Pluto contact yet, but we'll be doing that this summer. We'll be doing a mini grand trine storyline. But yeah, Pluto's supporting you from the 9th house and supporting Neptune, but we'll leave that one for when it's an exact mini grand trine this summer. So Neptune is flowing to Hestia, the hearth fire in the house of your audience, your business partner, your marketplace, and your long-term love relationship. There's a sacred flame of devotion retrograde here, and you're maybe looking more deeply at, are you at home in the relationship in which you are in? If you're not in a relationship, are you looking for a feeling of being at home in a long-term and committed love story or business alliance, or feeling the sacred flame of devotion? Are you feeling that to your audience and marketplace? It's 10th house from your 10th house. It represents the output of your career into the audience or public. Now, I also would say with Lady Luck, Fortuna in your 1st house, right? Opposite Hestia in your 7th house. First of all, you are lucky, oh so lucky, because Jupiter's in your sign going direct until June 9th. And now Lady Luck is there as well. And Lady Luck is looking over at Hestia in the house of other people. And I think Lady Luck's got the upper hand with Jupiter. You are very lucky, and you are trying to discern something about how the prosperity, abundance, and wisdom and truth that you're carrying as a Jupiter energy aligns or does not align with the way you are sacredly devoted to a significant business partner, a love partner, or even to your audience and marketplace. And now we see that Neptune creates that beautiful wedge formation, and he kind of solves the problem. I'd say there's a big visionary energy that wants to express here in the 11th house of your goals and dreams and career gains. But also you need to align that away from the lies of Borasisi and the fictions with what's real and what's true, so that you can make decisions and take actions, says Mars, around your values, around your money, around your earnings, and around your possessions, and around your voice. Because that's what Mars is doing. He's in the 2nd house of all the things I just outlined, and he's your decision maker. He's your action taker. And he can see that Neptune's up there in his house. It's time to take decisions and make actions that are financially positive for you, that connect to your career and what you want to accomplish up there, but also allow for Neptune to get his vast imagination in there. I'm going to say it with the Sun and Neptune together up there. I think you need a bigger dream. I think a lot of Geminis realize it's time to have a bigger dream in love, a bigger dream in self and what self can become, and a bigger dream understanding that chasing the paper isn't the most important thing for you. Yes, you can chase the financial wellness, but Mars is cutting through that house, eliminating what you don't need in your possessions and what you don't need in your acquisition of financial wellness. I think you're dreaming a bigger dream about your entire career, about your relationships, and about who you want to be in the world. Let's see what you have what you get in the card for you. And when I say this too, like I have a Gemini friend. I know he's working really hard. He's my age. He could be retired, but I think he's trying to support the wife, So the Vestal flame in the 7th house, who's retired and their income is halved. So he's working for her, which is very much what this chart would look like. But it's time also to recognize what your dreams and wishes and goals are as well. Oh, okay, I got the card flying. It's the 20th card and it's got a Pegasus, type flying horse here. Yay, Pegasus. That's cool. Whoa, I lost the book for the cards. Where did it go? Did it fall down? It was just with me. Here it is. All right, so the Pegasus card, which called flying, is the 20th card of this deck. Let's give you guys a delineation, Gemini. All right, Gemini, it's Pegasus type flying horse. All right, for your dream a bigger dream for your life. And this is going to be true for you over the next, 14 years. But this is the first taster until October the 22nd. And it was upright. All these cards have been upright so far. You have the power to see things from a higher perspective. I said, dream a bigger dream. Neptune's in the height of the 11th house. If you were a bird flying high in the air, what would you see? When you soar above life's challenges and opportunities, a new perspective becomes available. Today, you have invisible wings that allow you to swiftly bring your circumstances into alignment with your highest purpose. This is a sign that your waiting is over, that all of your hard work is paid off, and that the things you hope for are no longer beyond your scope. You have the ability to reach for the stars and find one with your name on it. Spread your wings, Gemini, and soar. The angels are waiting for you. Did I really just draw that card after astrologically delineating the same thing? I did. It was crazy. Okay, we're going to keep going. I need a bit of a chocolate break, and then we're going to do the next few signs. Oops. All right, let's get going on to our next sign. And chocolate was delicious. It was hazelnut, dark chocolate from Italy. Let's see if I can roll this thing up in the next 40 minutes. We did Gemini, and now we're moving into, am I sharing, guys? And am I recording? I'm recording, and I'm sharing, and I'm onward. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You guys know the drill, especially in the live premiere. That really helps the channel expand. I'm over the 100,000 mark, and I'm excited. I want to keep going. So help me continue to grow. All right. It is, and don't forget, we have a free webinar coming up. I introduced it in the beginning. So go check the description box below for the sign up link about the webinar on Neptune in the sign of Aries. Now, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. First of all, we have Neptune ingressing into the kingdom of your 10th house. And this is going to indicate a career shift over the next 14 years. This can change the career completely. And if you don't believe me, I bet you don't believe me, right? If you don't believe me, ask somebody else who's gone through this already. Ask the people who've already experienced this career shift, which are the Gemini risings, as Neptune ingressed through the Pisces 10th house. So they've already had a lot of changes in their career, a lot of shifts in their career, maybe some confusion, illusion, and delusions, and all of that as well. Now it's your turn. And in this sense, you may find yourself coming into a period of confusion or uncertainty, ennui, or inertia about what you need to do or want to do in your career, because Neptune also gives you that sense of dazed and confused, right? And he's going to be here through till October this 22nd from March 30th. But he's also connected to that asteroid Borasisi, where I mentioned to you that you might want to be careful about the illusions and delusions that you may have going on, that you think you're so desperate to believe something. I'm going to get rid of Scorched Earth Phaethon because he was actually, as the ingress happened, behind us. Just give me a second. I want to move him out of the picture. I don't think we need him there. So let's get rid of him because he comes in after the original ingress. Technically, he's not there in the beginning. There we go. Don't want him, confusing us. And you could convince yourself of something. You could delude yourself. You could make up a story that's completely unreal and it's based on the lies you tell yourself. But also be obviously careful that some boss or employer isn't trying to co-opt you to drink some kind of Kool-Aid with a bunch of lies about how great this new job will be. That would be another downside. Just be a bit careful there as well, especially with the sun there. That's a solar figure, a boss or a corporation or an entity. And you're like, okay, sure, the benefits are going to be so fabulous. And they're going to give me all these great perks. And you get there and you're like, no, they lied about it. I wanted to believe it so desperately. Don't be swindled into some kind of career opportunity that's not great for you. That's what I mean. Otherwise, with Neptune up here, you are trying to create a new vision, a new imagining, a new dream, a new enchantment for the career and purpose part of your chart. Oh, wait, you're a student. Your career is you're a student. Oh, wait, you're retired. What are you doing that people are seeing you do in the world? What is your visible actions in the world that others note you doing at the high noon of the chart? Because if you're retired, you're doing something unless you're in bed or unless you're in a hospital, right? You got to have something you're doing in the world. It's your reputation, your social standing. I hate that word, social standing. And so anyway, it's definitely about a new dream for your career. That's what you're trying to create. But over the next 14 years, you will have some confusion, uncertainty, but you will begin to see a new path forward. When I look at Hestia, the sacred flame of devotion in the 6th house fire trining, you want to be devoted to something that you're doing in your career. You want to feel a sacred calling. You don't just want to be working in a job that doesn't feel right. That's what Hestia is saying. She's a sacred devotional flame and feeling at home and at the hearth fires of the work you do and the people you work with. You could also say home office. You need to create a home office, a sacred space and a home office for whatever you're doing in this world. And some of you may be compelled and propelled to create a sacred space and a home office space, so to speak, in the next months ahead to October 22nd. With this energy also looking like Neptune having a convo with Lady Luck next to Jupiter in your 12th house, lucky things happening from far off foreign shores and distant places, lucky things coming to you in your career connected to things you're doing home alone in solitude, luck and fortune coming towards your career and a new dream of your career connected to guru, teachers, learning, ashrams, getaways to spiritual retreats, that kind of thing. I mean, Jupiter is like the guru, and this is a house of enlightenment. And Lady Luck is saying lucky breaks in your spiritual path can come to you that help inform a new vision for your career. But Jupiter in the 12th, 8 out of 10 times, it propels people to study and learn. Jupiter's talking to Saturn, Neptune, Venus, North Node even in your 9th house. I didn't put the node in there. So a lot of you Cancers might be really thinking about either going back to school or learning something new that will inform a visionary, enchanted, and satisfying devotional direction in a career path that's new. And also Mars. Mars is the Lord of the 10th house, and he is making decisions and acting with great willpower and agency and action taking in the sign of your Cancer identity, sun, moon, or rising. And so therefore you are able to act more effectively to change things and move in directions you want. And you're pretty strongly placed here to make those decisions and actions to make that career space what you need, including quitting something, quitting the job, quitting the career path, changing it up dramatically. Mars is cut, end, and sever, slice, and, and divide. So you're not just like, oh, I think maybe one day. No, Mars is pretty snippety snip there. And he is snipping the chironic wound, right, in your 10th house. He's perfectly square Chiron. So what is this wound of my career path and my reputation path has been off center for me ever since 2019. Can't quite nail that one, right? Well, this is helping you make the decisions and take the actions to cut away all that isn't really good for your career and to find the true path for your career so that you're in alignment here. Let's take your natural gifts and abilities. The chironic wound wants to be healed. Healed, I tell you. We're going to take the cards here. And we are going to draw a card for you about all of this career intensity going on. Thank you, Neptune. And don't forget, we're going to do this on another video. That's on my webinar for sure. Saturn's coming in there to bolster Neptune's dreams and make them true in the month of May. Heal the ouch. Well, didn't I just talk about your chironic wound ad nauseum? Heal the ouch. And it is card number 38. Well, obviously something that's bothering you is trying to be healed in this time between the 30th of March and October the 22nd. It says forgiveness is a healer of the ouch. And this is a time, it's card number 38. This is a time for great soothing of the heart, body, soul, mind. Healing will be prevalent in your life now. If you feel drawn to study the healing arts, I said you needed to go back to school or learn or study. Well, yeah, Chiron is the healer in the house of work and career. If you feel drawn to study the healing arts, you'll be successful in developing your natural capacity to restore others to wellness. However, the message may be that you're called to change your behaviors in order to heal the earth. Perhaps you'll switch to a cruelty-free diet, eat less meat, etc., etc. You're asked to be conscious of your footprint on the sacred earth and commit to the healing path. Heal the ouch may also be an indicator old wounds and broken bonds are now being mended. Reconciliations are possible and bygones can become bygones. All right. But it's really connected to the career space and the reputation space. Maybe somebody slammed your reputation. Maybe your career has felt like it's been wounded since 2019 at some point. And this is very healing for that as well. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, it is a sky that tells us that you've got Neptune in the 9th house of God in a fire trine to your Leo, especially profound, of course, for any of you, Leo, sun, moon, and risings in the first 3 degrees. But all Leos feel this new enchantment flowing at them from the divine temples, the temples of the high, Apollo and Jupiter, the 8th house of pastors, preachers, guides, and mentors, gurus and teachers, the 9th house of Lakshmi, luck and wealth, the 9th house of your higher education, dharma and meaning of life, the 9th house of foreign lands and shores and legal matters. Oh, so much going on up there. So first of all, the 9th house is also in India, the house of the father. There may be some profound enchantment and a healing of the father wound, should there be a father wound. Nonetheless, you do have this energy of something very spiritual, Neptune, in a house of very spiritual matters. You may be coming into a time in your life where you're adopting a new spiritual faith or spiritual practice. Be careful you don't drink the Kool-Aid. Neptune up here in the house of gurus with Borasisi, the lies, the fictions you want to believe so desperately. Be careful you don't fall into some kind of religious fervor that isn't really fitting for the truth. So be careful between now and October 22nd as a warning not to get involved in a cult. Mm-hmm. Now, what about the fact that Neptune happens to be flowing to Lady Luck in your 11th house of good spirit, which is also a lucky house? Well, Neptune wants to bring you some deeper alignment with your purpose and your dreams and your spiritual and ideological philosophies and alignment with that, and something to do with the career gains themselves or the social groups of belonging that you choose to be as a part of your tribe. And therefore you could bring in a lucky new group of friends that you feel very fortunate to have become a part of. On the other hand, career gains and allies and benefactors can be very lucky for you over the months that follow this ingress until October 22nd. Jupiter is doubling down with Lady Luck on how lucky you can be in the 11th house. A sibling one older benefits you greatly and brings you great luck. Also, you might find with Jupiter and the Lady Luck story flowing to Neptune in your 9th house that you have some lucky opportunities to benefit from a favor from somebody that allows you to take a dream trip to a far off land, be able to go off to a higher educational setting thanks to a favor or an insider tip or something from some benefactor or ally. I mean, at a very boring note, right? It could just be an opportunity for a distant, far off land where there's water, Neptune, and fire, volcanic, water, fire, hot near the sea. But there's something about that that's going to allow you to create deeper, more truer dreams for what your long range goals are in a connection to a deeper purpose and a meaning of life. Hestia, the hearthfire goddess, is in your fifth house. You want to tend a sacred flame of devotion to your love life, or a sacred devotional flame to your children, or a sacred devotional flame to your creativity and the use of your natural talents and abilities. All of these are possible. And so there's this desire for this sacred flame to be burning in the fifth house. Neptune wants to help light it up in a fire trine from the ninth house. And this is creating an impetus, therefore, for some new structures of imagining and believing and dreaming what can be true. Now, I don't want to talk twin flame, but I will say that the devotional flame flowing to Neptune in the ninth house could be an indication that over the course of the next few months until October, some of you might come into a very powerful new relationship with somebody who shares your spiritual values and from which the foundation of the love story is based on a deeper, almost sacred temple prostitute energy. You know, Vesta, Hestia also have the initiatory sex rites all about them. So you might come into a very profound spiritual, intense new type of love story for all of you Leos who are single, right? In the time between now and October the 22nd. I'm going to draw a card for you and see what I get. And this is about, and Mars. Sorry, Mars is squaring. He's the Lord of the Aries zone in your 12th house. Again, that's a house of distant shores and far off lands, also enlightenment and spiritual attainment, releasing addictions and self-undoing, and karmic ties that bind you, especially from childhood. So you're doing all of that while Mars is looking at the ninth house ingress. And for some of you, it could definitely be a desire to travel extensively or for a bit abroad, but maybe even make some changes to your home. So you're going to move away from where you live, but not down the street, quite further away than that, maybe even to a foreign place or another shore or another state or another province. But Neptune's helping you dream into what it is you actually want in alignment with your true self and your higher goals and your dharma. I got the intention card for you, number 22. Intention, number 22. It's got a little owl with a stick in its mouth on top of an egg on top of a pedestal. Number 22, intention. That's so funny because the ninth house is a belief house as well. What do you believe, you know? 22. Intention. Deliberate, clear intentions have the power to change your world. Your objectives can be fulfilled at this time. Inspired intentions are like magic arrows into the sky. Oh, the owl has an arrow in its mouth in the picture. The universe is bringing you a gift, dear Leo, showing you that you're hitting your mark. Recognize you're not the one who has to do all of the work. Others help you co-create your reality. You connect to the power of your intention, sending it into the field and allowing for synchronicity to work. It's magic. You know, that's funny because the intentional house where we can magically co-create is the fifth house where the Vestal flame is sitting. You connect to the power of your intention, sending it into the field, and then allow for synchronicity to work its magic. Perhaps the good intentions of others can inspire you to send out beautiful ones of your own. Own the life you want to lead. Own the life you want to lead and live deliberately with clarity and detachment. Now, that's perfect because it's a fire trine from the house of God and the house of beliefs and the house of connection to a higher power, connected to the fifth house of co-creative energies and co-creative and co-generative energies with the divine. So looks like you're here to set an intention. You got till October 22nd to do it. Neptune is definitely all down for it. Use your solitude as well. Mars is in the house of solitude, dreaming time, nighttime dreams, vision boarding alone. Dream into what it is you want to create in your life next. This meaningful and purposeful. All right. If you're a Virgo sun, moon, and rising sign, you're going to have Neptune ingressing into your eighth house. Neptune will be in your eighth house until October 22nd. Then next year, he'll arrive again till 2039. It's a new you. It's a new life. It's a new thing starting up. Neptune can make you dreamy and confused about your finances you share with your spouse, or inheritances or investments. Now, does it mean you shouldn't invest in anything? No, of course not. Neptune can be, you're going to invest in spiritual occult things. You're going to make money as an occultist. Neptune here heightens your imagination and your psychic, clairvoyant, and clairaudient perceptions. Of course, this is going to depend a lot on what your moon is doing in the chart relative to this Neptune transit, but it can really enhance your intuition. Like my Virgo rising daughter, moon in Libra, Neptune will wake up her dormant psychic abilities. They're not actually dormant, but she doesn't use them as much as she should. Neptune in this transit could definitely take you down a mystical path. I talk to dead people. I do human design. I do the tarot. So some of you will investigate the occult mysteries over the next 14 years. This is a taster of that. And Neptune in this part of your chart can also be very importantly connected to a very spiritual way of approaching your relationship dynamics with your spouse, where together you share this new spiritual focus in your life, especially when it comes to a more of a tantric version of sexuality than just the playful or procreative. Having the Borasisi there at the very beginning, just be very careful in the next few months until October 22nd that you don't fall for some lies or fictions, especially when it comes to inheritance monies or your spousal shared resources. If you're going through anything along those lines, you want to definitely get to the bottom of things. Don't leave it yourself in a misty fog when your partner tells you something about the joint finances, or the inheritance lawyers are just sort of blowing you off. You really want not to believe things without double checking the details. Is basically that kind of story. The hearth flame, Vestal flame, is in the fourth house of home, property, land, and real estate. She's also in your domicile. She's flowing beautifully to Neptune. Some of you might come into an opportunity to buy or sell or move into your dream home with Neptune in the house of rentals. It could be a dream rental, but this could also be a dream sale or purchase. But there's something about the dream, the enchantment, the vision of what you want when it comes to a sacred kitchen, home, hearth fire, a sacred devotional flame in the home. And it could be a new dream, a new vision, a new home, maybe a home for you and your partner moving together. If you're single, just a home for you. The energy here of having Lady Luck in your 10th house of career speaks for itself, flowing to Neptune in the house of chunky money. This is the kind of thing where Lady Luck could say you're going to get great outcomes. Like if you get fired from your job or want to quit, you get this golden severance package. If you want to retire, you get more money than you thought you should have from your career. Lady Luck says if you want a new job, you've got it. And they're going to give you all these great benefits, like chunks of benefits, like insurance packages for your health and, a chance to invest in the company, or a big commission or bonus check. Okay. So you're going to get these kinds of chunks of lucky money from your career to the chunky money house, all the way through until October 22nd. Jupiter and Lady Luck double down on how damn lucky you are in your career and reputation space, Virgo, all the way through until October 22nd. It bakes that energy in. How would you use it? I don't know. Mars is cutting through your 11th house of career gains, and that's also very capable of quitting a job, quitting a structure of money making, quitting a source of career related income. And as he does that square to this Neptune, it's literally helping you kind of clear away some kind of potential confusion about your finances and your money you share with a spouse, or the money you have in your investments or your 401k, because you really can see it more clearly. But don't follow for the Kool-Aid. Don't get a stockbroker telling you pie in the sky stories. Don't get your spouse telling you bullshit, or don't get the inheritance lawyer lying to you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Be cautious around that. And ultimately, though, Mars is cutting through also the house of friendships, and any kind of dispute you have with friends regarding money, or an elder sibling regarding money issues. These are going to come to a head probably between now and October 31st. So be careful about lies around shared monies, or money owed to you, or money connected to friendships, money connected to career gains, and money connected to your spouse and you. You really want to get cut through the imaginal, illusional, delusional, and get the truth there for sure. I mean, to be practical, ask your spouse how much money they really have. Ask your stockbroker, really, what's the bottom line here? Be careful, markets are turbulent. Mars is squaring the stock market's house, and this could take a downturn. And Neptune is your false belief. You desperately are praying that, bulls get some, bears get some, and pigs get none. You're praying that this like downdraft is going to return, and it's probably not. Like, you need to look at things realistically, not in some fictional delusion that everything's going to be fine. I'm talking specifically about Virgos highly invested in the markets. Now let's take a look at what does this card say for you about how you should handle this storyline in your life over the next few weeks. Now, this doesn't happen very often. Two cards came out together. One is a card called Home, and the other is called the Golden Palace. Now, when two come out at once, I'm honoring that. So card number 27 is Home. I can't just pretend it didn't happen. Sorry, because that means I have to talk longer. Home is you are comfortable in your own skin and you belong. Well, of course, the Vestal flame of sacred devotion and the hearth fire is in the fourth house of the home. Right? So that makes sense. Peace, security, safety, belonging, the features of the world, all the features one would want from the home are now indicated. The home card represents, Virgo, an invitation to experience what it's like to be secure in your own skin, to live comfortably no matter what is happening in the world around you. It's time for opening your eyes to your tribe of like-minded people. Mars is cutting through the tribe right now in your chart, getting rid of the deadwood. Tribe of like-minded people, or one special person that makes you feel like you've come home. Home is love, and love is all around you. Whatever your inquiry, you are where you need to be and where you're meant to be, and will reap great benefits by staying on the path, regardless of where it leads. Home will always be with you. It's where the heart is. Well, that's so cool. So, as I said, there's something about an enchantment, a dream, finances, home. There's a light in your sky at this point. Now, when I look to the Golden Palace, number 23, isn't that funny? A palace and a home. They're not too far off in their meanings. The Golden Palace, there's always enough. The Golden Palace represents good fortune, ambitions fulfilled, and wealth and prosperity. Well, Neptune's in a money house. It may indicate emotional fulfillment, that you're entering a time of happiness that's long overdue. The message is self-worth is not measured by what you have, no matter how abundant. Instead, it comes from what you are and how authentically you're living your life. Granted, receiving this card does indicate material gain and a furthering of tangible financial rewards, but things come and go, and knowing your true value leads to even greater riches now. Share the wealth. All right, so let me say one more thing about that. Father figures, chironic wounds, and money, Vestal flame in the house of legacy wealth. For a very few of you, you may find some legacy wealth coming your way from a family of origin, likely father figures, before October the 22nd. Of course, not everyone has a father figure to dispense some legacy wealth, but if you do, then this could be something to consider. Libra, sun, moon, and rising. Is it like an hour and a half that I've been going already? Libra, sun, moon, and rising. Well, first of all, it looks to me like you are going through a period here where, Libras, you've got this energy of Neptune waking up your seventh house for the next 14 years. In this case, we're talking about the 30th of March to October 22nd as a teaser, tester, trailer of the whole story. As he enters in here, Neptune says, Borasisi, this is like a fictional story by Kurt Vonnegut that's made up of a religion made of lies. So where are you creating a religion made of lies when it comes to your business partners, your long-term love relationship, or your significant clients and audience? Or where are they doing the same thing? So be careful for that kind of fictional myth-making enchantment that's quite delusional when it comes to those relationships. However, we also notice that Neptune is helping you activate that chironic wound in the house of long-term committed love and business partnerships. And so possibly some of you are getting ready to use a new technique to move through that wound. And sometimes Neptune is your higher imagination and the dreams that you can create through your imaginal powers, the image-making power of the mind. You might attract Neptunian people to you over the next 14 years. And those Neptunian people can be Hollywood, screenwriters, artists, creatives, glamorous people. Just keep that in mind too. Neptune is going to be in a flowing relationship to the Vestal flame in the house of writing, social media, third house, online stuff, neighbors and neighborhood, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, all of the extended family, kinfolk. And this energy is going to be a place where you wish to devote some time, energy, and tend that sacred flame. You might find you're going to have a sacred flame of writing and creating content in the realm of YouTube, Instagram, Reels, and any videography platform, podcasting that's visual, because the sacred flame in the third house is flowing to Neptune in the house of the audience, and he's Mr. Visual Media. So yeah, you might be really starting up a new podcast, starting up a new website, starting up a new social media direction for yourself and your audience. With the energy here of Lady Luck, Fortuna, smiling upon you in the ninth house with lucky Jupiter, this is a very fortunate part of your sky, and that is the house of publishing. Publish a podcast, publish a book, publish, put those things out into the world. There are publications up there in the ninth house. Longer range ones, short-term media like a newspaper, magazine, a blog, that's kind of third house. Bigger things like the book are in the ninth house. So what are you going to publish up here? You might be very fortunate for traveling and taking pilgrimages with Jupiter, Lady Luck, and Hestia on an axis of travel. Some of you may be very lucky in that area of your life. If you're single, you could meet your significant enchanted soulmate energy through traveling. So going abroad, taking journeys local or far away. The hearth flame wants to be tended in a local neighborhood, but Jupiter and Lady Luck say all of the gold is far, far away. Get thee on a pilgrimage, go off to a foreign land and have some adventures. You could also be very fortunate when it comes to university, higher education, and getting into an academic setting that's going to be exciting and wonderful for you as well, or for your partner. Maybe your significant other is going to go back to school and you're going to watch them also succeed and have their dreams come true in higher educational endeavors. Technically, Mars is the ruler of this energy, and he's in the 10th house of career. I think he wants to quit his job or have his job quit him. Other than that, he's working hard and he's passionate, but whatever's going on up there, he's pretty well going to be out of there by mid-April. And some of you may be leaving behind a certain career path. Well, he's up there though, or job or situation. And as he's up there doing his thing, he looks over at this ingress into the 7th house of contracts and agreements. Now, when we take a new job or we quit one, we have to go all 7th house. It's the termination paperwork. It's a new signing on paperwork. So there's some changes in your career connected to legal matters and agreements for sure. And possibly though, with Mars up here, he knows what he's doing. Okay. I'm not even going to get into it, but he did a Venus Cazimi in November 2023 to change your earnings and career direction in a major way. And this time that you're seeing in the sky is where he's really starting to take action to make that true and to make it happen. Like he's got to the end of the year to pull it off. But some of you are like major changes in your career direction. Some of you might even go back to school and learn something. Now I'm going to draw a card for you and see what it says. Oh, beautiful card. It's slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. Card number 12. Well, slow and steady for a Libra. Libras don't do things slow and steady. They do all at once and then nothing. You guys tend to be out of balance most of the time. So it'll be like I work my ass off and then I'm exhausted and I need to like sit around like a zombie for a while. So slow and steady is what the sky wants. That makes sense. Saturn, Mr. Slow and Steady in the workhouse, is trining Mars. So it is slow and steady that wins the race for you. Remember the old cliche, slow and steady wins the race? That's what it says on the card. And this is a time for easy movement, unhurried steps, and a steady heart. Trust that, and this is through to October 30th, right? October 22nd. This is a time for easy moment. Trust that taking life at a more leisurely pace will give you greater access to your dreams. Slowing down allows more contact with the juicier elements of life. Savor them. So I'm not changing anything I said, but it does say you don't have to rush. All right. So okay, don't rush. Just take your time. Especially when Mars mid-April to mid-June moves into your 11th house, flowing to Neptune in your 7th, while Saturn is there. That's when you can secure your next best dream job or shift of career direction. Okay, so moving forward to the next sign. Give me a sip of my electrolyte water. Yum. So delicious. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. The energy of Neptune till 2039 is testing the waters in your 6th house of work and health, pets and rentals, and debts. This is going to be an interesting journey for you. This is going to give you a whole new flavor of all of those things. Neptune is here till October 22nd, March 30th to October 22nd. He's going to entertain the possibility of your career path getting very Neptunian. What are some Neptunians? Music, filmography, photography, modeling, glamour, Hollywood, the new digital media that is coming out. Things to do with drugs. Maybe it'll be a pharmaceutical rep. Things to do with music for sure. I mean, he definitely does the music scene as well. So you want to understand sometimes the sky is extremely literal. In other words, it's not just about, oh, I might have a new dream for my career path, my work path. You may, or new Neptunian solutions to health problems like hypnosis to quit an addiction or visualization to improve your health. That's all very, very true. But also Neptune can be the type of work you're going to be doing, changing. So whatever you're doing now may change to a Neptunian style of career path. Now, Neptune says in the beginning, watch out for Borasisi. Now, this is about some delusional lies and fictions, like a religion based on lies. And because it's a workhouse, it could also be about, some kind of delusion or illusion. You might be called, to don't drink the Kool-Aid when the boss at work tells you that, if you just stick around for another 10 years, you're going to be, the boss, really suss into your own inner knowing about what is true and what isn't true, and what is delusional and what is real in the career space and the health space as well. Chiron here is giving you some career wounds and some work wounds since 2019. Neptune might want you to visualize and imagine something much better than you currently have going. Now, just for you, I'll say getting a new pet that's your dream pet could happen off of this storyline as well, especially with Pluto in the 4th house. It would be the return of a passed away pet coming your way between now and October 22nd in a brand new little puppy or kitty cat body or goldfish or whatever. Chironic wounds to debts connected to father figures. Okay, that's a possible story to pay attention to as well. You do have Lady Luck and Jupiter in the house of chunks of money, sometimes inheritances, sextiling wounds around father figures and debts. So maybe you can pay off a debt to a father figure owes you money, you get the money back, or you inherit money from a father figure and you can pay off your wounds around your own debts. All of that looks possible between the beginning of this story, March 30th, all the way till October 22nd. All said and done, you're pretty lucky on the finances. Lady Luck is flowing to Pluto and Jupiter supporting that. A lot of luck regarding inheritance, legacy wealth, buying and selling real estate, or renting and selling and buying real estate through to October. Neptune says, make it a dream rental, dream home, dream property purchase, dream sale. Do it in the way that you can use your visionary imaginal powers. You want to tend a sacred flame of devotion to your financial matters. This is the money you possess. This is the earnings. This is your financial wellness. The Vestal flame is in your 2nd house. You want to tend that flame. You want to pay attention to it with a sacred duty. I'd say the Vestal flame is probably very good at saving. The Vestal flame is also, of course, in the house of devotion and dedication to earnings, and she is flowing in a beautiful way to Neptune in the house of work. You might be kindling a spark of devotion to the work you do, where you start to feel that the way you make money is coming from a place of real sacred duty, and you're really enjoying the fire of the earnings. You're dedicated, but you're liking it in a new way. And Mars is cutting through the house of Dharma and the meaning of life, squaring the sixth house. Sixth house is your drudgery, duty, slavery, so to speak. It used to be the house of slavery. And now Mars is cutting from the house of deepest meaning, or the house of the father. And so again, situations with father allow for a deeper dedication to your earnings and savings and a change in your work, or you're able to cut through something to do with where you've lost track with, like being in alignment with your true meaning and purpose and your true north. Mars is helping you sort of slice through that part of your storyline while squaring the Neptune ingress. Mars can cut through Neptune's fog, and you may just go, I need to move into a meaningful purpose in life. I'm feeling completely off track. And some of that may occur as a truth between now and October the 22nd. Your card is going to be Sad Embrace. Now, I mean, it's the first time I've drawn a card that doesn't, have a good vibe. It's number 45, but I'm going to go with Jupiter in your inheritance house and Pluto in the legacy family of origin and house of the death god and the death god in the house of your family of origin. There is definitely a possibility of losing someone in your family line above you, granddad, grandma, dad, mom, I should say. But usually, in this case, it's going to be a solar figure, a male figure. 45. This is general bell curve astrology. Okay. If you're like 18 and your parent is 40 and you're listening to this, stop. Just stop already. You're not having a personal reading with me. You're getting a general bell curve reading. Yes. Meaning central tendencies. Google bell curve. Okay. 45. Ah, yes, I know, guys. I did well in school. All right. So sad embrace, sad embrace. Loss is a part of life. Let go and allow time to heal. Let me just say one thing. It could be letting going of a job, like letting go of a pet, letting go of a relationship from a family member, father figure. Letting go doesn't always mean death, but Lady Luck and Jupiter are favoring your finances, and Neptune's conspiring with Lady Luck. So if you have any debts, you're going to be able to pay them off by October 22nd. Lots of you Scorpios. You may be entering into a period where loss is a theme. Perhaps you're having to let go of long cherished dreams. If so, take heart. This ending may have been for your highest good. A better, more powerful dream will be realized in your life if you can accept the loss of the old one. Relationships based on faulty foundations. I don't think it's for you a relationship thing. Okay, so I'm just going to stop there because it's nothing to do with Venus, ruler of your seventh house. Okay, so it just says, whatever you're losing, tears are like a healing rain that restores life to a parched inner landscape. Growth is always assured. Whatever the loss, however great, let go, experience your feelings so you may soon see what beauty lies ahead. All righty. I'm going to say that I'm not going to say anymore. That's what I got for you. Okay. That's all I can say about it. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is a story that you have going on with a Neptune ingress into Aries. Is going to be there till 2039, but this is a shorter testing of the waters until October the 22nd. This is happening in your fifth house. Your fifth house is the house of children, fertility, pregnancy, conception, romance, sexuality, creativity, entrepreneurship, your natural talents and abilities that you were born with, that come from your inheritance through your genetic line. So you have Neptune waking up Neptunian things in this very creative house, the house of the muse, the house of the artist, the house of an entrepreneur. Some of you may become very involved in creative projects that are musical, photography, filmography, writing, imagination, storytelling, fictional energies. You might become very much involved in those creative pastimes, hobbies, or pursuits. And as Neptune comes into this part of the chart, if you want to be entrepreneurial, you can do that, but in alignment with these Neptunian types of disciplines, perhaps. Neptune here is also about enchantment and vision and dream, and he's in a fire trine to your sign. And this is a house that often has to do with manifestation of, divine mind and my mind are one co-creative chunk of reality. So you get luck here as well. So understanding this is a very good house that Neptune has entered into. Now, on a very boring note, or practical note, your children are here. Neptune is addictions and drugs and stuff. And so watch out for that. And if you have children, be careful that none of them become involved in that area of reality over the course of the next 14 years. Chironic wounds, falling out with children. Chironic wounds, difficulty with romance and sex. Neptune is bringing in a new dream, a new vision, new possibility. Single Sagittarius can meet their soulmate or dream mate or a true partner or high love or big love partner under this transit in the next 14 years. And also be careful in the short term, because this sort of fictional lie-based delusional religion Borasisi asteroid, I read the delineation in the beginning, means that you could fall into a temporary enchantment with a relationship opportunity that's not realistic, that's not true. You're going to convince yourself it is, but it's not. So just be very careful about new relationships that come up between now and October 22nd. Lady Luck is in your 7th house with Jupiter. So luck upon luck is smiling upon you. It is the house of significant long-term committed love. So I'll give you that. Just be careful you don't fall into any, dreamy-eyed rose-colored glasses. You could be lucky in love in the next few months. And some of you singles are looking for love. You're going to get it. Sacred flame of devotion in the house of you means you want to devote yourself to someone, something, or some path in life. You're looking for gurus to devote yourself, love partners to devote yourself. You're looking for a new path of devotion. Something has to be more important than everyday life. You want a sacred quality to your life now. And the sacred devotional Hestia flame is flowing to your house of children, house of fertility and romance, and it's flowing to the house of God and temples and pilgrimages and far off lands. And there's a sense when Neptune ingresses here October 30th that it wants to amplify your connection to spiritual surrender and enlightenment. Now, if you're with somebody already, Jupiter has you don't always get what you want, you get what you need. Long-term love relationships are under Jupiter's discretion. He's like King Solomon, coming up with the wise choice. Between now and June 9th, you'll know if that long-term committed love story is going to stick. All right, that's what I'll say. On the other hand, on a practical note, with Lady Luck, you could bump into spiritual teachers, gurus, guides, and abundantly generous people who are going to come into your life and enhance your life when it comes to creativity, the arts, excitement, enthusiasm, and inspiration. I think that Mars is squaring this from the 8th house. This is a karma house. You're breaking karmatic chains that have bound you, especially from your childhood. Yet at the same time, on a very mundane level, Mars squaring this 5th house storyline looks like you could be making some big changes in your life connected to your chunky money, connected to significant long-term love relationship partners, including the separation of that money, and done so in the spirit of compassion and in the spirit of unconditional love. Let's pick a card for you. I'm sorry if that shuffling was really loud. I didn't think about my microphone, slosh, 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 becoming like those tarot readers that like, I hate when the tarot readers do that. I'm sorry. It just always bothers me when they're like shuffling really loud. The card is wide open, wide open. Okay. And it's number 42. Okay. So 42, wide open. A woman on a rock with her arms open to the sky, by the way. Number 42, wide open. You are free to express your uniqueness to the world and share in all the bounty of life's endless possibilities. Well, that's the 5th house. That is the house of joy, inspiration, enthusiasm, creativity, the muse, divine mind, natural vitalities and gifts. All manner of opportunities are presented to you at this time. We'll call that through to October 22nd. The wide open card is a signal you're ready to truly manifest your dreams. That's the 5th house. And your goals are in sight, trining the Dharma house, the 9th. Instead, expand your horizons beyond what you believe is to be your limitations. You have a unique voice that needs to be expressed. in the world. The universe is supportive of new ideas and approaches at this time. So speak up and speak out. This card is a sign of the maverick who roams freely, the wide open space of possibility. Allow for greater vision to replace the old ideas as you dream a grander dream. Oh, that's so Neptune in the fifth house. Dream a grander dream. I love that for you. Let's do the Capricorns, shall we? Well, my phone is ringing off the hook. Oh, it's not the stupid political thing here. Pierre Poilievre. I'm in Canada. I'm being hounded by the political machinations of my own government. All right. No, Mark Carney's not going to win the next prime ministership. Yes, the conservatives will win the election if it's in the spring or the fall. It doesn't matter. All right. Well, let's keep going. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. I cannot believe it's taking me this long. This is so vast, spacious, and oceanic. I had the Neptune piece going on forever. All right. If you're a Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising, this ingress of Neptune for the first time in your life into your fourth house is going to last until 2039. This is a taster teaser trailer until October the 22nd. You want to establish a dream home near heat, fire, or heat and fire, maybe heat and fire Aries, but water Neptune. I don't know what that looks like. Where's heat, fire, and water, guys? Something steamy, something sizzly. I don't know. A hot, dry climate, but on an ocean. But nonetheless, it could indicate a literal desire or likelihood of a move to a new place that gets you in touch with the fire and the water, both, right? The Neptune and the fire energy. So some of you might be relocating your property, your home, your domicile over the course of the next 14 years. And Neptune is acting on Chiron, the wound that you've been feeling down here since 2019, not finding a home of belonging, a true home, wounded about the mother wound, et cetera, et cetera. Neptune is helping you visualize, imagine, dream into this dream of a new place to live, a new home, a new belonging, a new restoration of yourself, extricated from the wound of your childhood, connected most likely to the mom, but also in this case, the father wound. So the mother and father wounds are being dreamed into healing here between now and October 22nd. You could also, with this chart, be looking at some kind of telling yourself lies, trying to believe in something that's not real so hard because you're willing to swallow your own self-delusion. And that's the Borasisi asteroid on Neptune. So just be careful about those themes to do with your home and home life, especially what you're doing in the home as well, and being kind of drinking your own Kool-Aid in some way about what's going on in the home, what's true in the home, who you are in the home. Now, what you see here is that Asteroid Hestia is in the house of far off distant shores, and that she's the home fire and the hearth flame. But this is also the house of enlightenment, like nirvana, samadhi, full liberation. And, there's a devotional flame retrograding there. So, she's going back over old ground, but you're definitely somebody who may, with this Neptune trine, be looking at moksha liberation, right? There's liberation from the family of origin, the culture, the tribe, and your childhood stuff, and in the fourth house, and full liberation to Buddhahood in the 12th. And so some of you on a spiritual enlightenment-y path may find yourself looking at this next time until October 22nd as an opportunity for a breakthrough spiritually, basically. And also, Lady Luck is with Jupiter, and Lady Luck and Jupiter are in your sixth house. Fortuna as saying good fortune is coming to you when it comes to debts, karmic and literal, paying off a debt, getting a debt reduction. Good luck is coming to you when it comes to rental property opportunity, especially connected to Neptune in the fourth, a dream opportunity for a property rental as a landlord or as a leasee, a dream pet coming to you with Jupiter. It could be a big one. I don't know, a litter of puppies or a mastiff, but something big, and a soulmate pet coming to you as well. Lady Luck in the sixth house can bring some very lucky circumstances around health challenges. Jupiter is always the one who protects your health here. This would be a lucky break in a revelation of a health challenge that you find out in the nick of time. There's a problem and you get it chance to fix it. With Lady Luck in the house of health connected to Neptune. Neptune is often to do with nebulous problems with our health that we can't find an answer to. Like, I don't know what's wrong. I just don't feel right. No one can figure out what's wrong with you. But this could be a breakthrough if there's any health challenges bothering you. If you want to get work, then Jupiter and Lady Luck say lucky break in getting some employment or work or job thing off the ground. That's a very strong possibility. Hestia says may be connected to distant shores and far off places. And Neptune says it may require new work connected to a place that's hot and fiery and watery. Pick your climate, right? Okay. This is true to October the 22nd. Mars is the dispositor or the ruler of the Aries fourth house. He's in the house of long-term committed relationships and business partnerships. He represents brothers as well. Like as a category, this is a house of the eldest brother, like the brother that would be not the eldest. Let me get the 1, 2, 3. A brother 3 older than you, that's Mars in that 7th house, or your marriage partner or your significant other. And there is this Mars that is in a square to this Neptune. So, but also possibly meaning that there is a pivot point, a turning point in a relationship to that brother 3 older than you, that marriage type partner. There's a turning point in the sky here, and it connects to matters of domicile, where you live, shifts in where you live connected to a significant relationship. Now, Mars is just categorically squaring it, not especially, but he is squaring the chironic wound and wounds you have from childhood that have gotten implicated in your significant long-term love relationships are cracking. So it's like, okay, if you didn't heal your mother or father wound, then you may have played it out in your significant relationship, and there may be a breakthrough or a change of home or change in the relationship status connected to the childhood wounds coming through your sky March 30th to October 22nd. All right, that's what I've got for you. I'm going to pick a card. Almost forgot a card for you. Hope I didn't forget a card for any sign. All right, here we go. Yes, I'm doing the loud shuffle. I should have been a tarot card reader instead of an astrologer. They don't have to do any research. They just like throw the cards out there. Like, I think they have a much better deal. Well, it's the 15th card, One Ring Circus. Now that's interesting. One Ring Circus is number 15. Sorry, Capricorn, that sounds like a gnarly card. 15. You're capable and you're competent. Okay. Well, that's true. You're a Capricorn. Independence is the key now as you step into your journey today. Others may not have the vision or resources you need. Recognize that all the wisdom you've acquired along the way makes you particularly competent, capable of moving forward with assurance. Self-reliance is important. Self-reliance is important. Well, you've got Mars cutting through your marriage house, so that could be about why self-reliance is important. Mars cuts, ends, and severs those long-term commitments. Another aspect to consider is creating and maintaining clear boundaries between you and another, and Mars's boundaries between you and your significant other. Be discerning about your partnerships at this time. When you know who you are and have a healthy sense of where you end and others begin, you're able to enter into the best kind of relationships and will attract people who mirror back your wholeness. Interdependent relationships are more mutually supportive always, stimulating and transformative. You can achieve anything at this time. Well, it's not as bad as I thought in terms of the card. All right. Now we're moving into 2 more signs, and hallelujah, I'm going to get up and take a walk. It's a sunny day here. Pluto, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. So first, Pluto, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. All right, yeah, we got Pluto there. It's all about Pluto. Pluto, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. It's going to start up here on the 30th of March through to October 22nd, but it's the beginning of a story till 2039. It is 14 years of Neptune. in our third house. If you are a writer, if you are a online social media beast or something, this is really good for you. Neptune is all the videography platforms. He's a storyteller in a house of writing. He's fabulous. Hollywood, screenplay writing, channeling, social media, success. Okay. Second of all, at the beginning, not so great, right? Because he starts off here and he's conjunct Borasisi. Borasisi is like believing something so strongly that in your imagination, you believe it. Like you make it real. You're going to believe your own lies. You're going to be deluding yourself, that kind of thing. Or delusion is happening. Someone is trying to delude you through lies and you're going to believe them. Be careful for lies and delusions from third house people, aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, nieces, and younger sibling, and siblings in general. But in the meantime, just be careful, though, that you don't make some kind of fantastical story up about your capability in this house. It's skills-based teaching and learning. It's writing. It's communicating. It's social media, that kind of thing. It's a house of the goddess. It's scrying and divining and seeing the future, all of that stuff. Now, this is also a Neptune that's in flow to Lady Luck in the fifth house. And Neptune is very much, when it's connected to fifth house, soulmates. So dreamy, love, romantic soulmate stories and luck coming your way. A single Aquarius may meet a soulmate because you are online in a social media platform, traveling or teaching or learning, and boom, Lady Luck, Fortuna, and Jupiter bring in a lucky, prosperous, exciting new relationship. Or you could also be lucky in money luck, and that includes winning money. So Jupiter and Lady Luck in the house of lottery winning and casinos and gaming and speculative financial gain means that you're lucky, but it's also connected to the third house where Neptune is participating from. And so Neptune says, well, does this have to do with luck you could acquire through a local venue or through an online ticket or something? With the Hestia, the Vestal devotional goddess of the hearth fire, in your 11th house, you would like to devote yourself to your social groups and your tribe of belonging and to your career gains. You want to tend to sacred duty in how you make money. And this is flowing to the third house. Are you going to write? Are you going to go social media? Are you going to communicate? Are you going to teach in a way that you feel a devotional sacred duty that lights you up? And the dedication is there coming from a calling that's more deep than just the surface level. So that's exciting. Also, you might notice that you have another energy going on here. And what you have going on here is that you have this quality of Mars cutting, ending, severing, Mars squaring the whole Aries part of the sky. Now, Mars is in direct motion. Mars is, cutting, severing, and ending and stuff to do with health. So you're going to change your life, get rid of health problems because you cut the things out that make you unhealthy. You get into some more flowing exercise, sure. Also changes you want to make, cut, end, and sever. Regarding, he's in his joy here, regarding work, you're going to cut out certain parts of your work. There's no doubt about it. But he does square this Neptune ingress, and Neptune's all dreamy and visionary and full of fantastical, hypothetical, imaginal possibilities. And Mars is in a square. Well, Mars is going to be more realistic about what you can accomplish, what you can achieve in that work and health part of your sky. And so Neptune may be dreaming big and Mars is squaring him going, okay, but let's be realistic as well. Mars is strong in his joy in the sixth house. And you might also notice that, Chiron is here squaring Mars too at the ingress. And there's a sense that maybe you're feeling very wounded in that third house. Maybe you are overwhelmed with the work. Maybe you're teaching, writing, communicating, stuff has been wounded. So Mars is squaring the wound. Mars can actually be very good medicine for a wound, but he's really highlighting this part of your chart that kind of felt off base a bit for you since 2019, right? Third house is aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings, especially the one younger than you. And there could be some kind of things going on with them that you're going to have to pay attention to over the course of the next few months until October the 22nd, including a health challenge for a sibling one younger than you. And you might have to get involved in supporting that person through a difficult time or paying attention to that sibling for a reason. Let's draw a card for you. Don't forget, this is just a gist of it. Come to my webinar. I announced it in the beginning of the video. It's free. It's going to dive into the Neptune story. It'll be 2 hours long, maybe a 2.5 with Q&A. It's going to be worth going into because you're trying to understand the next 13 years of your life. So 14 years, right? Anyway, Aquarius, we've got this. We've got Pluto in the first house. Pluto's witnessing Neptune. Going to be a beautiful mini grand trine coming up this summer. One thing I'll say, if it comes to writing projects, wait until Saturn, third week of May, Saturn joins in with Neptune and joins them till September. Then you could get some writing projects done. Just a heads up. Saturn, you need the discipline, and Saturn won't arrive until then. I got one ring circus for us as well after shuffling. Capricorn's had it as well. Is that for real? OMG. How crazy is that two signs got the same message out of a deck of 40 something cards? Okay, I don't know how many cards. A lot of cards. 50 something cards. All right. I'm going to read it again. Okay, but I'll do a quickie on it. One ring circus. All right. You are, by the way, Aquarius, we are capable and competent. So independence is key in our journey. Others may not have the vision and resources we need. Recognize that all wisdom that we've acquired on the way of our life so far makes us competent, capable, moving forward with assurance. We are self-reliant. Woo! Another aspect to consider is creating and maintaining clear boundaries between ourselves and other people. That's seventh house people, your clients, your audience, your marketplace, your significant other. Mars will go through our chart mid-April to mid-June, helping us cut away or have to deal with those trolls, but we'll be able to be a little bit more boundaried about it. Be discerning about your partnerships at this time. When you know who you are and have a healthy sense of where you end and another person begins, you're able to enter into the best kind of relationships and will attract people. It doesn't have to just be love, business partners, clients, audience, marketplace, long-term love. Yes. Attract people who mirror back your wholeness. Interdependent relationships are mutually supportive always, stimulating and transformative. You can achieve anything at this time. Wow. Woohoo. All right. Well, let's get on to the next sign. OMG, this has been long. Shite. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. So you're going to have the most change of anybody, right? Because you've been living with Neptune. Well, you and Aries, you've been living with Neptune for 14 years, and finally he's leaving. So, you know, all of your stasis, stagnation, confusion, illusion, delusion, quagmire, uncertainty, shit that happened is gone. And also the enlightenment you might have gotten during this transit as well. But now it's into your second house. And so Neptune will be here till 2039. Today's reading is covering the ingress, which means that it's a vibe between the 30th of March to the 22nd of October. Neptune is about what you dream into being, but he's also about being in a place of higher transcendental, unconditional love and spiritual values. And he's going into the house of values and earnings, and it's going to inform the way you make money. It means that making money, like the Aquarius risings before you, over the next 14 years is determined by your spiritual values. And so you won't just work at a factory that's, you know, making bullets if you believe guns are bad. You're going to find money acquisition in connection with your values, money acquisition in connection with the following themes: filmography, photography, glamour, Hollywood, storytelling, music, and high art, Neptune. Some of you will move your career into that area. Channeling in the house of the voice. Okay. Intuition as well. You all notice that you have Borasisi. Be careful about financial matters. Second house is your possessions and monies, that you're going to have a delusional, almost drink the Kool-Aid, believe the lies that are here. And I don't know where the delusion and lies are coming from. I don't know where and why you might feel this delusion. I'm just telling you to be cautious here. Therefore, it's also about being very careful to circumspect your money and have somebody else help you with it, or think about your possessions in a way that you don't just go over the top. You know, for example, you're going to get a fancy car, but you haven't thought through it because you can't afford the maintenance, you know, that kind of thing. Now, Lady Luck is in the fourth house, and certainly in the sextile to Neptune, it could be your dream car, your dream home, your dream possession, sure. But be careful about the illusion that's also here, possibly not seeing clearly. Jupiter and Lady Luck bring you luck in the home, prosperity in the home, good fortune in the home, good fortune making money in and from your home. Good fortune connected to getting a home, changing your home. When Mars moves into your sixth house, mid-April to mid-June, ideal time to rent a new home or sell a home or rent a home, mostly rent a home, rent a property out or get a rental property yourself. Lady Luck and Jupiter, though, are looking over at this Neptune ingress and would like to bring you prosperity from legacy wealth, mom and dad, and family of origin. So some of you could get some inheritances out of this next few months until October 22nd. You've got the Vestal flame of devotion in the 10th house of career. You want to find a career path that feels true and right, where you feel like you're in a sacred calling and a sacred duty, where you are the temple priestess and the hearth flame keeper of the career and reputation that is true and right for you. And this is a flow to Neptune in your house of money making. So there's a new kind of devotional flame to a more spiritually meaningful path in your earnings and finances. With this combination of the Vestal flame in the 10th house, once you get Mars into your sixth house mid-April to mid-June, then it's really an ideal time for a dream job to emerge or a dream career opportunity to come your way, or to start a home-based business with great success. You can change your dietary style with Neptune here because he's the god of addictions, right? Now be careful because you might get into some, but once Mars enters your sixth house mid-June to mid-April to mid-June, you can cut away any substances that are escapist in your dietary style and addictive and not good for you as well. A beer a day doesn't always keep the doctor away, but it will increase your estrogen. Mars is the ruler or dispositor of the Aries sky, squaring from the house of children, romantic love, creative projects, and entrepreneurship. First of all, there could be some financial illusion and delusion to work out with a lover, a romantic partner, or a child. You may be focused on that until October 22nd. And when I mean delusion, illusion, or confusion, I mean that. I mean, you're trying to cut through something to see what's really there and what's true, especially if it ever comes to separating assets. And that could be something that mid-June to early August, you could be separating financial assets or money assets with a significant other. So be careful about your illusions and delusions that are in that second house of assets and resources and possessions. Mars squaring from the fifth house. Could be a termination of a romance. Could be saying you are sort of coming out of a time of foggy illusion, and now that Neptune is, healing a chironic wound in the house of voice, what will you voice to a romantic love partner that's no longer, wounded, or that's more true? I mean, there can be a fracture in romantic love, not necessarily long-term committed love either, by the way, but definitely in romantic love. Don't let a child tell you bullshit about the money they need from you, because they'll say it's for this, but it's really for that. So also be careful around financial obligations or requests from adult children and your resources, and make sure you get a clear beat on what's being asked of you here. This is not too bad for entrepreneurial endeavors. Mars is basically saying, get your act together, make some decisions, and go for it. Create your own entrepreneurial business. Do it. He's in the house of entrepreneurship and creativity. The square can just be about taking action already. And you may begin to think about taking action to set up your own business of some sort. Let's see what we get here for you. Let's pull a card for our Pisces here. Metamorphosis, like a butterfly. Card number 25. What are you becoming? Are you a moth? Are you a butterfly? Number 25. 25, 25. Here we go. Metamorphosis. You are in the process of deep and beautiful change. Butterflies earn their wings through great effort. The process of change is often painful, for it's never without losses and sacrifices. If you are to transform from one form to another, a part of you needs to die. Letting go isn't easy, Pisces, especially when you're used to thinking a certain way about your life and how you live it. Just as a snake sheds a skin or a caterpillar dies, so the butterfly is born, you're required to release your old ideas and embrace a necessary change so you can live your best life. Perhaps you're being asked to let go of self-worth, low self-worth, a dream that no longer serves you, a relationship that is draining, or unhealthy habits. Well, I said all of that already. By the way, South Node is moving through your house of primary long-term love relationship, which is to let go of a relationship that is draining, or a business partnership, or by the way, yeah. Despite your fear, you must accept that this is a transformational time for you. There will be some loss involved, but you'll love what you become. You'll love what you become. Oh, all right, I'm out of here. That's got to be a 2-hour video. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Come to my Neptune webinar in Aries at the end of this month. I'll have a sign up link and below this video, recorded March 6th for my Patreon community. You guys are getting this on Sunday, a few days later. Ciao, everybody. Bye. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell.